As I stepped inside, the sight before me was utterly devastating. What transpired next will leave you in disbelief. Would you have taken the same path? Or would you have fled? An expedition into the shadows. Never did I imagine that I would be revealing my story to the world. At the age of 48, family life has many difficulties. My husband and I have been married for 10 years but have no children. And then we decided to adopt a son from an orphanage. But a few years later, my husband left us, mother and son. My son is 18 years old, but he is still innocent and playful like a child. As the sun sets, I slip into my scrubs and enter the realm of nursing, embraced by the shadows of the night, the strange hours, the unyielding weariness, and the weight of those encounters slowly seep into my very being. Beyond the boundaries of my professional life, it often feels like a monotonous loop, departing for work, returning home, striving for rest, and then setting out on the same path again. In the midst of life's relentless routine and its myriad challenges, I have discovered a flicker of hope in an unforeseen domain. Join the new sport, pickleball. It might seem ordinary, but it became my refuge, welcoming a new wave of excitement. Last year, I joined a local league, seeking to fill my time with something engaging. To my astonishment, I discovered that I thrived in it, even securing a place in an official tournament 3 hours distant, an occasion for which I had dedicated months of steadfast practice. In that ephemeral moment, it felt as though I was clutching a shard of my identity from before the divorce, reigniting the vibrant spirit of my former self. But the exhilaration was swiftly subdued by the responsibilities that accompany parenthood. My teenage son, wrestling with his own rebellious inclinations, demanded more attention than ever before. As the tournament approached, I chose a course that genuinely embodied my commitment to my dreams, all the while respecting my responsibilities as a mother. I have crafted an itinerary for us to relish a weekend at a hotel conveniently situated near the tournament venue. The hotel boasted an enchanting indoor pool, a charming retreat that provided a momentary respite from the chaos of our everyday lives. As the first light of dawn broke, I stirred from my slumber. After a gentle stretch, I moved closer to rouse my son from his deep sleep. He curled up beneath the blankets, reluctant to forsake the soothing warmth of his slumbering sanctuary. With a soft yet firm assurance, I communicated to him that breakfast awaited. A tranquil moment lingered before we each resumed our distinct journeys, as I perceived the gentle whisper of his thoughts meandering towards pancakes. It dawned on me that he was awake, filled with a subtle thrill of his own. We made our way to the hotel restaurant, where a timeless breakfast buffet welcomed us warmly. The room radiated an enduring allure, embellished with timeless treasures, where pancakes sat decadently soaked in syrup. A medley of freshly crafted omelets and eggs enticed the senses, and a modest assortment of crispy bacon rounded out the welcoming scene. My son piled his plate high with pancakes, each bite a gentle reminder of simple pleasures, while I opted for a meticulously prepared omelet. We basked in a gentle calm, relishing the peace of the morning and the uncomplicated joy of being together. After we concluded our meal, I asked if there was anything he desired to do before I needed to return to the pickleball alley. His eyes shimmered with enthusiasm as he recounted tales of a nearby mall that contained a specialty store he had yearned to discover. The enchantment of uncovering a long elusive game stirred something deep within him, and for a brief instant, we both basked in the excitement of an approaching adventure, a welcome escape from the tumult of our everyday existence. Mornings such as these serve as a touching reminder that life persistently unveils beautiful, unforeseen moments. In these cherished pauses, tucked between the demanding hours of work, the fleeting breaks at the pickleball alley, and the cozy breakfasts enjoyed together, I unearthed the strength to carry forward. They act as gentle reminders that amidst challenges, the ordinary can be sprinkled with instances of joy, hope, and the unwavering love for a son who, in his unique way, motivates me each day to keep going. As I maneuvered through the serpentine roads leading to the pickleball tournament that morning, each bend symbolized a step toward reclaiming a piece of my past self. A self alive with passion and dreams rather than just duties and weariness. The tournament rose above the confines of simple rivalry. It served as a symbol of perseverance, a tribute to the idea that even in the face of formidable obstacles, instances of victory and rebirth can arise. In sharing my story, I invite you to see that even within the unending demands of duty and generosity, there exists the possibility of discovering your authentic self in the most unexpected places of life. Through the lens of a passion like pickleball, or the simple joy of a shared breakfast that warms the heart. These moments intricately weave the narrative of our lives, reminding us that each day is filled with the promise of a fresh start. A journey marked by peaks and valleys. Once, I was steadfast in my belief that sharing my personal journey was a road I would never traverse. Yet, here I find myself, uncovering the complex twists and turns that have molded my life. Recently, a day filled with unexpected events reminded me of the weight of responsibility intertwined with the bright flashes of joy that invigorate my soul. As a parent, I sought to provide my son with every conceivable opportunity, even when it meant making sacrifices that challenged both my financial stability and emotional resilience. A simple indulgence at the shopping center. The day revealed a tender reflection of my son's character, considerate and seldom asking for more. He nonchalantly revealed that he had been envisioning a particular game in his dreams. We ventured to the mall on a lively afternoon, where the corridors teemed with a multitude of people, and the energetic hum of everyday existence surrounded us. The way before us was clear and undeniable. GameStop. As he stepped inside, a glimmer of excitement danced in his eyes when he discovered an old used game. Its price intriguingly marked at almost $60. The cost took me by surprise, surpassing the sum I usually found comfortable. Yet his fervor was undeniable. The genuine warmth of his smile made every sacrifice feel like a worthwhile pursuit. With a heavy heart and a deep sense of obligation, I reached for my wallet, paid for the game, and treasured the bright spark of gratitude and happiness reflected in his gaze. Moments of connection. After our excursion to GameStop, we meandered for hours amidst the vibrant energy of the bustling mall. As we wandered by the shopfronts, the lively crowd enveloped us, igniting a flood of treasured memories with every step and shared look, whisking us away to a time unblemished by the challenges of youth. The cherished, unspoiled moments we shared exclusively were indeed invaluable. It evoked memories of our earlier days, rekindling a sense of intimacy and affection that I had feared was diminishing with the passage of time. A challenging night unfolded at the pickleball alley. As the evening progressed, I found myself once again at the pickleball alley. Rejuvenated by the day's connection with my son, I felt energized and ready to give my all at the tempo. Despite my renewed vigor, the unrelenting fatigue and mounting pressure weighed heavily on my performance. From a promising second place I dropped to fourth place. Although I am very dissatisfied with that achievement, I reminded myself that obstacles were simply transient phases. A colleague of mine from the league, Ava, emerged victorious in the tournament, and my pride in her accomplishment is immeasurable. Ava's unwavering commitment and tireless work led to a triumph that transformed into a collective celebration for everyone involved. After the awards ceremony, a small group of us decided to embark on a humble celebration. Their invitation exuded an irresistible charm, especially with the venue conveniently located just across from our hotel. An inviting warmth wrapped around us as we gathered at a charming bar. In the midst of laughter, shared memories, and the gentle clinking of glasses, I permitted myself a moment of relaxation. Even as I usually gravitate towards moderation on such evenings, I savored more than just one glass of wine, yielding to the liberating spirit of the night, a tranquil return home, and reflections beneath the stars. As the hour drew near to the early morning, I found my way back to our hotel. In the stillness of the night, my son rested peacefully in his room, the soft illumination of the TV bathing his tranquil face in a comforting light. A soothing wave of calm and deep maternal love washed over me as I quietly closed his door and made my way to the bathroom for a quick change into my soft pajamas. As I returned to my sanctuary, I settled into the comforting embrace of my bed, wrapping the covers around me while I attempted to lose myself in the soft glow of a movie flickering gently on the screen. Though sleep eluded me still, in the quiet moments of reflection, my mind wandered through the intricate weave of the day's adventures, the escapade at the mall, the exhilarating game, the emotional highs and lows at the pickleball alley. In the quiet embrace of the early morning, Shortly after 3 a.m., the gentle stirring of my son in his bed drew my attention. I lowered myself to witness him, entranced by the soft, rhythmic rise and fall of his blanket as he slept. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My son, what was he doing? The undulating movements through the blanket, the soft moans in the night. Suddenly, it was like an electric current that woke me up. An electric current that awakened me after so many lonely days. Maybe it was the wine. Or maybe it was the solitude. But I realized I could no longer bear it. Is there anything else you require? I exclaimed without thinking. I found myself pondering if he had brought that up. No, I could merely feign sleep talking. Yet to my astonishment, he agreed, and that's when the realization struck me. What shall I do now? The solitary word, yes, lingered in the atmosphere, an unmistakable and harsh reality. It felt as though a switch had been activated. A barrier shattered. It felt as though I were observing my own existence from afar. A mere onlooker in the theater of my life. A peculiar detachment washed over me, enveloping my senses in a shroud of unreality. It felt like I was transcending my physical form, shedding the burdens of morality and the weight of societal expectations. I rose to my feet, my legs oddly numb, and made my way toward his bed. The room was enveloped in the gentle illumination of the television, projecting elongated, distorted shadows that waltzed across the walls. I paused at the brink of his bed, my heart racing within my chest, a desperate rhythm echoing in the stillness. The warmth emanating from his body enveloped me, a magnetic force that beckoned me nearer. For a fleeting moment, I paused, my fingers poised just above the blanket's edge, a quiet inquiry lingering in the atmosphere. With a measured grace, I extended my hand and gently lowered the covers, just enough to unveil him. He reclined, his gaze expansive, a blend of astonishment and an elusive emotion, one that eluded my understanding. His hand remained encircled around himself, a quiet testament to the act one had unwittingly interrupted. She stood there for a moment, her gaze fixed on him, grappling with the whirlwind of emotions that swirled within her, struggling to comprehend the reality of the situation unfolding before her. It felt as though I were gazing upon a stranger, a manifestation of my son that was entirely new to me. It was an odd blend of the familiar and the foreign, a merging of the roles of mother and something beyond. An undeniable pull surged within me, an almost overwhelming desire to reach out and touch him. I extended my fingers, quivering ever so slightly, and delicately withdrew his hand. His skin radiated warmth, a subtle dampness that sent a shiver down my spine. I murmured, my voice barely rising above a whisper. Allow me to assist you with that. I averted my eyes, allowing them to wander over the contours of his form, the delicate interplay of curves and angles that felt both known and foreign. In an oddly revealing moment, I discerned the signs of his awakening desire, the delicate shifts that signify the passage from youth to maturity. I found myself inching nearer, the atmosphere heavy with unvoiced longings and taboo musings. I observed as my own hand started to glide, fingers meticulously outlining languid, intentional designs along his form. It possessed a softness that was simultaneously firm, creating a contrast that was utterly intoxicating. I sensed my breath quickening. I watched as water began to appear. The pearl was revealed. The tip of my tongue ventured forth, seeking the salty tang that ignited a jolt of electricity within me. He flinched at the touch, a gentle gasp slipping from his mouth. Would you like me to? I murmured, my voice thick with longing. He nodded, his gaze locked onto mine, a wordless request shimmering in their depths. I bowed my head, my lips grazing his skin, the touch igniting a surge of warmth within me. I enveloped him with my lips, the flavor and sensation igniting a tremor of delight that coursed through every fiber of my being. His hands found their way to my hair, tugging softly. I whispered to him in a low, husky tone that if he dared to pull, he might find himself enjoying the outcome. He tugged gently, and a fresh wave of longing washed over me. I instructed him to apply more force, and he complied. I embraced him in response. The feelings surged within, an intoxicating blend of ecstasy and remorse, of longing and embarrassment. It felt as though I was ensnared in a tempest, battered and swayed by powers that lay outside my grasp. I sensed his body tighten, a shiver coursing through him as he approached the peak of ecstasy. His release was a potent wave, a surge of warmth that enveloped my mouth, a flavor that danced between the realms of familiarity and taboo thereafter. A profound stillness enveloped the room. We reclined together, our forms entwined, our breaths blending softly in the stillness of the room. The atmosphere was laden with unvoiced feelings, heavy with the gravity of our recent actions. The feelings were intensely vivid, intricately layered, and profoundly intertwined, and then, as if compelled by an unseen power, we were irresistibly pulled back together. The longing flares up with the intensity of a raging inferno. He requested it once more, and I discovered that I could not bring myself to decline. The guilt lingered, a persistent whisper in the recesses of my thoughts. Yet it was eclipsed by an intoxicating wave of longing. Oh my goodness, I believed he was prepared once more. I found myself questioning the wisdom of his early arrival, and soon my thoughts spiraled into a whirlwind of other possibilities. The boundaries separating mother from son, as well as the distinctions between right and wrong, became hazy, twisted, and nearly vanished. We found ourselves ensnared in a tempest of unspoken yearnings, a ballet of fervor and remorse, a clandestine bond that would eternally unite us. Thus, we found ourselves in the aftermath of it all. The atmosphere in the room was dense, laden with unvoiced feelings, burdened by the gravity of our actions. Deep within me, I understood that the events that transpired were fundamentally wrong, morally, ethically, in every conceivable manner. But there was a comforting thought. He was just my adopted son. I asked him to come back from the orphanage, and then I continued to relax my body following the emotions that were rising. Yet the guilt, that weighty, suffocating sensation, was transient. It surged in waves, crashing over me before retreating, leaving in its wake a peculiar, almost disquieting sense of anticipation. I repeatedly reassured myself, this cannot occur once more. I endeavored to engage in a dialogue with my inner self, seeking a path to harmonize our actions with the truth of our connection. Yet, the reality was that the boundaries had become indistinct, perhaps even completely vanished. As I pondered further, it became increasingly clear that I had no desire to erase them. It resembled a hidden truth, an exhilarating danger that throbbed just below the veneer of our mundane existence. The guilt and shame lingered in the shadows, yet they were eclipsed by an intoxicating sense of power and desire that beckoned irresistibly. A chilling certainty gripped me. This was far from the end. The dawn of something new had only just arrived. A new chapter unfolds, marked by complexity, fraught with peril, yet laced with excitement. My mind wandered to various thoughts, to different possibilities, to alternative avenues for delving into this fresh dynamic. Contemplation of the future began to take shape in my mind. As I pondered what it might unveil, I envisioned fresh methods of connection, innovative paths to discovery, daring to shatter every rule we had ever adhered to. It was then that the most mischievous thoughts began to surface. Concepts that ignited a fervor within me. Concepts that sent shivers down my spine. Concepts that compelled me to reevaluate every belief I held about my own identity. I began to ponder the possibility of embarking on this journey once more. Yet, in another realm, what if we dared to extend the limits even further? If we truly embody that essence? I have a question for you. How would you act if you found yourself caught in a storm of desire? What actions would you take? Would you take flight? Would you attempt to erase the memory? Or would you venture forth to escape the past? Or might you venture forth? We invite you to share your reflections in the comments section below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Man Story channel for more captivating true infidelity stories.